The more difficult is the ikhfa, which is the last one. And the ikhfa happen when nun sakin or tanween precede any of the 14 letters, the rest of the letters in Arabic language. Again, alif is not one of them, of course. Ikhfa is hiding, so it's hiding the nun at the letter after it. So part of the nun will be there, and you will start to pronounce the letter after it. So you prepare your tongue, your mouth, your lips, depending on the letter, to pronounce the letter after it with the ghunnah of the nun sakin and tanween. Here the ghunnah sound will depend on the letter after it. And again, the ghunnah here is a prolonged ghunnah. One of the tips is that you delete the tongue part of the nun. So the nun have two articulation points. The khayshum, which is the nasal cavity and the nasopharynx, and the tongue or the tip of the tongue and part of the palate. So the tongue part is deleted here in ikhfa. And for that you need to keep the tip of the tongue at the base of the oral cavity. So don't move it. If you move the tongue up, then you either make idgham or you make idhar. And for that reason, the ikhfa is divided into 3 levels. The strongest levels is when the ikhfa happen before the letters which is near the nun in the makhraj, or near the nun is the articulation point. And it happened in ta, and dal. And the least is in qaf and kaf because it's the furthest or the farthest from the makhraj of nun sakin and tanween. We will give example to this, so don't worry. For the sad, mansura, rihan sarsarin, min siyam. For the dal, anzirhum, ta'aman dha. So here I'm not pronouncing the dal in the beginning or the time of the ghunnah. I will pronounce the dal after I finish the ghunnah. I will not mix the two together, so it's not idgham, it's not merging. So I'm preparing to pronounce the dal, but I'm not actually pronouncing it until I finish the ghunnah. So I will say ta'aman dha. I'm not doing ta'aman dha. If I do that, then I'm merging them together. I don't do that. For the tha, manthura. So you can see I'm not pronouncing the tha yet until I finish the ghunnah. Manthura. So I don't say manthura. And I don't say manthura. So I don't put the tip of the tongue up. I don't put the tip of the tongue up. If I do that, then I will make idhar. Then I will just pronouncing the nun. I'm not making ikhfa. I'm not hiding the nun. I'm pronouncing the nun. That's one of the mistakes that you should avoid. من ثمره نطفة ثم. And in qaf and kaf is where most mistakes happen. Remember, it's the least ikhfa level. It's the letters which is pronounced at the base of the tongue. So they're further away from nun articulation. So they have to be sounding like this, because you're again preparing the tongue and the oral cavity to pronounce the kaf. You say ankala. So the tip of the tongue is down and you're preparing to pronounce the kaf. One of the mistakes that can happen in the kaf is that you mix it with other sounds. So you prepare the whole tongue to pronounce the kaf, and that's not correct. So the base of the tongue is the part where it's used in the kaf. So you say ankala. You don't use the other part of the tongue or the mid of the tongue to pronounce the ghunnah, or don't prepare that part during the ghunnah. So you don't say ankala, ankala. So you don't use the middle of the tongue in that. You only use the base of the tongue. Other example for the kaf, ankana. So it's the weakest ikhfa. It's the weakest ikhfa, and it's very similar to idhar in its sound. So it sounds very similar to ankana. It sounds very similar, but I'm not putting the tip of the tongue up, of course. So I'm saying inkana, ankala, ajrin karim, ajrin karim. For the jim, anja. So the sound is different than the kaf sound. You can hear there is difference, because in jim I'm using, or I'm preparing the mid of the tongue to pronounce the jim. In kaf I'm using or preparing the base of the tongue or the back of the tongue to pronounce the kaf. The other is shay'in jadala. For the sheen, منشورا لمن شاء جبارا شقيا. For the qaf, ينقلبون. And again here the ghunna is مفخمة because the qaf is مفخمة. أنقد عفوا قديرا. For the qaf in particular, if the qaf is maksura, it's the least level of tafkhim in the qaf. So it would be similar to faqd tafkhim at all or no tafkhim at all in the qaf. So the ghunna here will depend on the harak of the qaf. If the qaf is maksura, then the ghunna will be muraqqaqa, or very similar to ghunna muraqqaqa. For example, the ghunna here in shay'un qadir will be different than عن قبلتهم. عن قبلتهم. Here the qaf is the least level of tafkhim, so the ghunna will follow that. One of the mistakes is to make it mufakhama in any situation of the qaf. So don't say عن قبلتهم. You say عن قبلتهم. The ghunna sound will depend on the letter after it. So it differ if the letter is mufakham, muraqqaq, and what is the letter even. For the sin, الإنسان من سلالة قيلا سلاما. For the dal, أندادا قنوان دانية. For the ta, ينطقون صعيدا طيبا. For the zay, أنزلناه يومئذ زرقا. For the fa, أنفسكم. So remember, don't mix the fa with the ghunna. Don't say أنفسكم. So don't pronounce the fa yet. Wait until you finish the ghunna and then pronounce the fa. But again, prepare to pronounce the fa. So you say أنفسكم. One of the mistakes is to say أنفسكم, mixing both together as if you were making idgham actually, not ikhfa. ذرة في. Another example for the fa, ذرة في. For the ta, كنتم جنات تجري. أنت. For the dad, منضود مسفرة ضاحكة. For the dha, ينظرون ظلا ظليلا. So the ghunna here in ikhfa differ depending on the letter after the nun sakin and tanween. So you say mansura. It's different than al-insan. So it's muraqqaqa and sin and the ahraf which is muraqqaqa and mufakhama and ahraf mufakhama. And with this we conclude the nun sakin and tanween ahkam and the lesson for nun sakin and tanween. Hope this will be very useful for you and your qira'ah will be better every day. And I hope Allah will accept from both of us. جزاكم الله خير والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته.